On this episode, we're going to talk about my mom.
I made a video a couple days ago asking you to write me some of your questions that you might have to get to know me, to get to know my family, and to get to know what we're doing. I got a decent response. I got several that most of what I got was private message, actually. Like, most people did not put it in the comments. So one of the first things I got, I guess because I brought it up, was my name. My name is actually, my middle name is Hope. My first name is actually Cherish, like what you say in your wedding vows, to love, honor, and cherish. When I first decided to do this, I knew that our local flea market, that I was going to set up a booth to sell some of the things that I'm going to make here. And I had to come up with something, a name for it. And my husband said, well, why not Hope's Homestead? Because Hope is my middle name. So that's how we come up with the name. One of the other questions I got was something about makeup. Somebody asked me in the first video, so a lot of times you had a lot of heavy makeup, but now I don't see you. I will just let you know that on a day-to-day basis, I don't do a lot of nothing. But you will see me one of two ways, either completely plain-faced, or it looks like I just worked at a nightclub. It's the only two ways I go. I'm either like full decked out with makeup, false eyelashes, the whole deal, or nothing at all. Which most of the time, day to day, it's nothing at all because I sweat it all off. I'm coming out here. It's nasty. I mean, chicken poop and dust, and God only knows what else. And I've got 3 kids, so. So that's the other thing. I'm married. My husband, I've been with him. Me and him have been married. Come November, we will have been married 9 years. We have been together altogether 13 years. We have 3 kids. Mara is my oldest. She's at the beginning of the video. She is 7. And then I have Solomon, who is my middle, and he's 4. And then the baby is Olivia, and she's 2. Let's see. Met my husband in church. We were in a youth group together, and that's how we met. We now play and sing on a praise team together. I'm the praise team leader of our church. Let's see. One of the questions I was asked before I continue babbling was, tell me something interesting about yourself. Well, I can tell you a lot of different things about myself. I don't know how interesting they are, but I can tell you some things. I will be 30 years old in September, and I have been working for veterinary clinics, boarding kennels, doggy daycares, and such since I've been 19. So since last August, I have been working either with animals, around animals, or somehow I've even worked in a pet store. I only had a 10-month stint where I actually worked at a call center for medical insurance. So it's still been medical field, medical related, animal related, something always since I've been 19. Before I started doing this, last October when I first started looking into it, my husband asked me this one question. He said, how are you going to do this when you're afraid of chickens? Before I started this, I was terrified of chickens. I actually had the opportunity to buy grown adult chickens, and I passed that up because I was afraid that I would be scared of them. So I got chicks, and as they are growing up, I'm realizing not only do I like chickens, I love chickens. I don't know what I was afraid of, but I love chickens. Especially my Roo. He's my baby. Love him more than anything. Him and Trinket, both. They are just light of my life. Another interesting thing about me is I did actually go to college. I was attempting to become a veterinarian. I was 19. I had started working at a vet clinic. I was starting school. One of my first, I think it might have been like my 3rd exam or something. I made a 70, and I panicked, and they were like, well, you can make it up, but the highest grade, even if you got 100, we'd still only give you credit for an 80. And I was so upset, and the vet that I had worked for at the time told me, don't worry about it. I'll teach you anything you want to know. Don't worry about it. So I dropped out. I blew an entire full ride to college and blew the whole thing. So sometimes even your superiors don't know what they're talking about, so ignore that. If I had have been doing, if I would have stayed in school, please don't fight. My chickens are fussing because I threw some feed down there and now they're going crazy. if I would have stuck with it, I remember sitting, I think it was like 2 years ago, I was sitting in a vet clinic. I was the receptionist at the time, and I was sitting there and I thought, I would have graduated this year. I would have been the boss if I would have just stuck with it, but I didn't. So always stick with school no matter what. If I would have not went for veterinary medicine, if I could go back and relive it again, I probably would have went for what I'm actually, another passion I have that I don't talk about a lot in the videos because I just have not, and that is culinary arts. I probably would have went to school to become a chef. I am crazy about cooking. True Southern person. You come to my house, you're going to eat. I don't care if you just ate on the way here, you're going to eat. I'm going to make something. I love to make breads from scratch. I love to make a lot of things homemade. The way I think I talked about it in another video, the way I actually got into homesteading is I was looking for how to make real from scratch biscuits. And so I came across homesteading videos, and it was just, you know, one thing led to another. So I really love to follow people like Gordon Ramsay. I love to watch Gordon Ramsay. He is such a butthole, and I love it. Rachel Ray, I like a lot of her stuff. I love Julia Child, Jacques Pepin. There's actually another woman, her name is Vivian, and Vivian Howard. She owns a restaurant called The Chef and the Farmer. It is in Lenore County in North Carolina, and what she does is she only buys local produce, and she changes her menu based on, you know, what's in season at the time, and I think that is an excellent idea. I would love to do something like that. Maybe years down the road you may see me do something like that. Channels that I follow, I'm going to put the links for everybody that I follow in the description. Some of my favorites, it actually started with Becky's Homestead, so I will put her in there. Becky's Homestead, she's out of Florida. Then there's Patera with Appalachian Homestead. I'm going to put her in there. Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. Love them. I am a Homestead homie. Then we have, let's see, Amy with Fewell's Homestead. I love her. She's in Virginia. Super sweet lady. Really knowledgeable. She's one of the few people. I have followed several. I have commented on several. I have talked to several bits and pieces. But if you ever want to actually speak to someone and someone give a crap about what you're talking about, Amy's the one to go to. She's super sweet. I know I follow a lot more than that. Pratt Family Homestead, follow them. Love them to death. I just got a new one that I started following, Tennessee Homestead. Love him. He's very straightforward, straight to the point. Don't care. He don't care if it's offensive. He is true Southern gentleman. Love to watch him. So I'll put the links for everybody down there so you guys can go back and follow if you want to. Feel free to look through them. And I think I probably got like 10 more than that. These are just the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Another thing you might not know about me, I'm going to put a picture up here somewhere as I'm telling you about this. Last June, on June 11th, I done something totally out of character for myself. Before last year, I weighed 338 pounds. I was very heavy. And I actually had the vertical gastric sleeve surgery. Up until that point, I was a very big homebody. I just wanted to stay in the house. I was not interested in being outside. You couldn't get me outside. It was too hot, and I didn't want to be out there, and I didn't feel like it, I didn't feel good. When I had this surgery last year, it's like my eyes just opened, and I was like, oh my God, I can go outside, and, you know, I can spend more than 10 minutes out there and not be so out of breath I'm dying. So, I'm not quite a full year out, and I have, I'm like 1.5 pounds away. I've lost 100 pounds. So with some luck, as you watch me, I'll just keep getting skinnier with some luck. But no, I do have to credit 100% me taking the leap to do homesteading from having the vertical gastric sleeve surgery. That's just all there is to it. I never would have had confidence in myself to do this. I never physically would have been able to do this. And, you know, I struggled with my weight. I'm not quite under 200 pounds. I'm slowly getting there. I'm working my way down. But if I get below 200 pounds, that will be the first time that I've been under 200 pounds since I've been 11. I've been struggling with weight for a long time. A lot of people will say, oh, well, eat right, healthy, go to the gym. when my daughter, the 2-year-old, was born, we had a membership to the gym. I hit that thing 7 days a week because I was out of work at the time. I didn't go back to work for a while. 7 days a week. I was doing juicing fasts. I was doing everything, and absolutely nothing worked for me. I went to the doctor, and he said, why don't you consider this? I had tried pills, diets. You imagine it. I've given it a whirl. My dad is a personal trainer. I've given it a whirl. And nothing really seemed to work for me, but this did. This reset my metabolism. It started over. I've kind of slowed down a little bit, but I am still going. So hopefully you will see me slim down a little bit more. So, but honestly, I can say that I'm proud of myself. Some people will say, well, that's the easy way out. If you've ever had part of your stomach removed from your body to where you have to watch everybody else around you eat, and you get 2 bites and you feel like you're going to die because you may have taken 1 bite too many, and now you've got to wait 30 minutes before you can drink anything, and your hair all starts to fall out within a couple of weeks after having surgery. Honey, let me tell you, I've tried it the hard way and I've tried it this way, and it's just as hard as any other, but this actually works. So that's why I did it. So off for all you haters out there that's going to say something about my surgery, whatever. You ain't me. You don't pour my Cheerios. But anyway, that's pretty much. Oh, and for the people that may have looked through the comments to see what kind of questions I was being asked, there were 2 people that commented and wanted to know my address and could they come over. They were not just being creepy. That's my mother and my aunt. So just ignore them because they are being weird. And guys, yes, you may come over and you know I'm going to cook. So whatever. That's really all I can think of. I wrote down some of the questions that I got. That's really the only thing I got. I'm pretty boring. My husband, just recently, good news though, exciting news. My husband's not an animal person. When we first started, we had Katniss Everdeen, my black cat, when we moved here back last April. And since then, I have Frodo Baggins, another cat, Arya Stark, who's another cat, the 16 chickens, Winter Flowers, who's my pit bull, and we have a rabbit named Frosty, and we're about to get 2, 3 goats. And he actually told me yesterday, he was like, at first I was a little unsure. I didn't want you spending a lot of money on this stuff because I didn't know how it's going to work out. But he was like, I'm really proud of you, and I'm really excited to see where it's going. He's always been extremely supportive. If I said, you know what, I think I'm going to go build a rocket ship and go take off, he's like, sure, babe, let's do it. I mean, he's always down for whatever. He's just not been as excited about all the animals because he's just not an animal person. But he's been very, very supportive. And now he's like, you know, I'm seeing progress and I'm seeing how great you're doing. He was like, I'm ready to get on board with this. He actually told me that he wants us to try to work toward eventually selling where we are at, getting more property, and becoming almost off-grid. I still want running water, and I still want electricity to a degree. But that we'll do another video on that later. But we are going to start moving toward it. So for those of you that follow me and you are interested in doing that, you know, I've watched people like Becky's Homestead say, you know, we became mortgage free and we did this and blah, blah, blah. But if you listen to what she's saying, she said, and then a few years later, this is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to be a couple days. It's not going to be a couple weeks. Next year, you're not going to see me say, oh, surprise, we live in a cabin and, you know, we're completely off grid and I have 15 cows. And it's not going to happen like that. It'll be slower. That baby's down there just fussing away. It will be slower, but it's going to happen. And I can't wait for you guys to come along with us and to watch and to see this, you know, from literally living in the suburbs. And I'll do another video probably in the next couple of days. I want to show you guys what our property looks like. Because most of you don't know. I had told you that I had a 1/4 of an acre fenced in, but what you don't know is what my property actually looks like. I don't live in the city. I do live in a rural area where, you know, I'm unrestricted in what I do, but I live in a subdivision. Like, out my barn window out here is somebody's house. So, like, they came home and they hear me in here talking. They probably think I've lost my mind because then they see me just waltz out of here by myself. So they probably think I'm crazy in here talking to myself. But they don't know that I do any of this. So, but yeah, I will show you the property, and I will show you where I have everything positioned, because not only do I have space for this, John, actually, that's my husband's name, is John. He and I actually discussed it, and we may actually expand out a little bit more so that we can up the amount of goats that we get. Right now, I promised him I was going to get 2, but I'll probably get 3 goats. I've been looking around. I got space for 3, and I'm not pushing it or anything. But next year, we definitely are going to start upping. We're going to get rid of the kids' trampoline. I'll show you all that later. That's another time, another day. But I just wanted to let you guys know I was going to answer your questions. I hope you all have a great day. Sorry the video was so long. Sorry I blabbered on so much. Love you guys. Bye.